Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week, hopefully one with me in full regalia this time as opposed to last time. I just, time constraints and all that. Anyway, we have 6 albums to go through, so let's go through them. We begin with Behemoth and their new album, The Shit of God, and obviously the word of is spelled O-V because true cult metal. This is a bit of Black and Death, my second Behemoth album, and I'm giving it a B. I think it's got really good riffs, and I actually quite like the mix going. I think maybe it's a little bit too clean in some places, but it's pretty solid. The instrumentation is probably the best part about the album. The guitar work especially is really good. Nurgle is a really good guitarist and a solid vocalist. But I feel like it doesn't feel different from any other Behemoth album, and I say that as someone who's only listened to 2 of them, because I listened to their previous one, don't remember the name, obviously, title will go here. I get the band's stance on occultism and the Satanism and such, but it gets a bit self-parodying at some points with the writing, and not necessarily always in a good way. I feel like they're trying to take the shit way too seriously. I do think most of the other elements balance out as well. I do think the pacing is a little bit short. It's a weirdly short album, 37 minutes 48 seconds to be exact. It's one of their shorter albums, and I think they definitely should have had a few more songs, because there's only 8 on here, and it feels so weirdly paced for what it is. It feels quite nicely fast-paced in some areas, but I might think a bit more epic for something for a blackened death metal band. I expected them to lean more into the blackened part and not necessarily as much the death part. So yeah, I don't really like that it leans too heavily into its tropes, but I think it's got some pretty good production and I like the riff work a lot, and I think the band are doing what they can with it. I just, want them to change shit up a bit, maybe do a nice concept for the next album. Hopefully, who knows. Still pretty solid all in all. Next, we have what I think is the first for my Music of the Week episodes, at least this year, a debuting band with a name that's a fucking difficult twat to Google. We have Perth Australian hardcore punk band, The Chain. Every time I tried to Google that, it just came up with a Fleetwood Mac song, aka the only Fleetwood Mac song that people know, and their debut album, The Chain's debut album, not Fleetwood Mac's, titled Blind the World. Give this one an A. I fucking enjoyed this. This was some really good, fast-paced, punchy, heavy, hardcore punk. Shortest album today as well, just over 17 minutes. So, yeah, not really long, but the instrumentation goes hard. I like the grooves on the bass bits, especially the guitar, and especially the drumming that really deliver on here. And the performances are great as well. I wish that I could have... Well, I did try and look up who does what for names, but... everyone in the band does a really good job, presuming that there's 4 or 5 members. I think there's just about 4, I'm not fully sure. Someone feel free to correct me in the comments. Who am I kidding? No one watches these. I will say I felt like the production was a little bit overcooked at times. It wasn't bad, but I think it needed a bit more of a less polished feel. But the vibe we get is still pretty solid. Obviously the band works really good. I do like the lyrics. I'm pretty sure there is themes about individuality, but I couldn't actually find anything for themes or writing. But, it's more of those ones where the feel of the words takes over the actual, what's written down. So, I'll give that what it is. And I really enjoyed the pacing, too. For how short the album is, there's a lot of really good builds and a solid mix of tones. And, great payoffs for the most part. Most songs are quite short. I think the longest one is about 2.5 minutes. Not, that's only a 10-song album as well. I think the rest of them are about just over a minute to a minute and a half. But yeah, overall, really fucking solid stuff, and for a debut, debuting band from a country I like, playing a genre I like. Good shit. Good weekend for me it was, listening to this one. Next we have another debut. We have Esox with their debut album Watery Grave, and when I say their, I mean his, because this is a solo act from Italy by a person named Federico Storiali. And it was self-released, I think it was self-produced. And it's the longest album. It's only got 6 songs, but it's almost a full hour. It's 59 minutes and 44 seconds. I'm giving this one a B. I enjoyed the ideas here because it is a concept album about someone committing suicide via drowning. That can be a really interesting concept. The trouble is that there's not enough writing, the instrumentation parts are too long, and also there's these weird bits with David Attenborough style narration, which made it unintentionally kind of funny, and I don't think that was the goal. I just felt like it was it was a little bit silly and goofy, and it contrasted the serious tone of the actual concept and core theme of the album a bit too much. But I will give Federico all the credit in the world, because I've always had a lot of admiration for a one-person actor who does fucking everything, and his instrumentation is really great. I'm pretty sure his vocal delivery would be really good. Unfortunately, the production does not mix the vocals well. And if he did self-produce it, he has no excuse, because I cannot hear a bloody thing. There's like, the only reason I could understand the lyrics is that there's, I think, lyrics on the Bandcamp page as well as the Metallum page for this album. But if you couldn't find the lyrics, you wouldn't know what the fuck he's on about, because you can't hear the vocals that clearly. And he is singing in English, by the way, completely in English. I don't think there's an Italian lyric on this album at all. I did enjoy the pacing in some places. While I felt like there was a little bit of filler at points, I did enjoy most of the core sound, and I think Federico's performance was really good, and the instrumentation was pretty solid too. It's got that atmospheric vibe. It is a black metal album, atmospheric, or black metal I should have mentioned, and yeah, the instrumentation is my favourite part. I like the guitar work, the drum work, the bass if there is any. That might have been synth, I'm not sure. I just think that for his next one he needs to learn to mix better or get someone else to do it for him, because God, the vocals on this do not sound good. It's not that he's a bad singer, it's just they weren't produced well. So, I don't know. But for what it was, and for something this ambitious as a first go, I kind of appreciate it for what it is. Next we have The Head and the Heart with their new album Aperture. This is the band's sixth one? Yes, it is. It's my first one by them as well. I'm giving this one a B+. This was some pretty solid indie folky rock stuff. It was produced by the band's own members and was put out through their own label titled Every Shade of Music, which is kind of a generic name for a record label, to be honest. But, yeah, I quite enjoyed what I heard. I like the performances a lot. The band have tons of chemistry, and there's 3 vocalists, and they're all really good. I quite like the lyrical theme of trying to find hope in difficult times and embracing the presence and now, even if the writing can feel a bit basic and not really super inspired at times and maybe a little bit repetitive, but I do enjoy it. Production's really good though, mixes all of its elements quite well, and when you get a whole band producing their own stuff for such an eclectic sound too, because yeah, this is indie folk, but there's like so many like baroque elements to it and traditional pop elements that I think worked well, which helps the instrumentation. But yeah, production mixes that quite well, and you can actually hear the band members, which is nice. Pacing is really good too. It's quite interesting, and I think the style mix helps to carry that sound along quite well. So yeah, all in all, just really solid and surprisingly fun and positive stuff. I like an album that just feels kind of warm to listen to. Like, it was a weirdly comforting listen for me. Next we have the Kooks with Never/No. I kind of hurt my hand a bit. And this is my first Kooks album. This is a sort of indie poppy rocky thing, and I'm giving this one a C. I think it has some solid enough ideas. I think it's got a good couple of riffs here and there, and I think that Luke Pritchard, the lead singer and frontman and producer on the album, has a fair bit of charisma. The problem is it feels a bit too much like the Luke Pritchard show at times. So, I guess there's a solid indie feel and good timing with the instrumentation. I think it's good with the vibes, and I like the guitar work a lot. Lyrics are a bit weird to me. I don't mind the theme and trying to find the good in the small things in life, but the writing itself is a bit repetitive and feels strangely depressing and also like weirdly generic at sometimes. I don't mind the performances though. As good as Luke Pritchard is, though, I think it is guitarist Hugh Harris who does quite a lot of the heavy lifting. I think he carries the album to me. And, it is just him and Luke with some session musicians. And I find it a bit weird because they form a drummer for the band, something Nunez, again I'll correct in post, used to drum for the band full time and now works with them as a session musician. And I find that to be really weird. Why didn't you just keep her in the band? I know it was a woman at the very least, I remember that much. But yeah, production's okay. It doesn't really add much or take away much. I mean, makes things sound clean, but doesn't really bulk it up enough. It just makes it And the structure feels the same to me. I can't remember much what happened, but there wasn't really many changes to the core formula. And while it could have used its indie pop rock styles in some way, maybe even gone into more of a traditional pop rock sound, maybe even a bit of punk, it doesn't. And I kind of wanted it to, because it would have given it a bit more given it a bit more energy, and probably would have helped it get out of its only gear, because it feels so stuck on like a slow drive for this one. And for a short album as well, 36 minutes 26 seconds is not long, but it feels so slogged out for some reason. I don't know, maybe that's just me. And finally we have a band I thought were making their debut. Turns out this is just their first album in, 21 years. Small time gap then. With McCluskey and their new album, The World Is Still Here and So Are We. This is a good bit of noisy, punky, rock, hardcore post-hardcore stuff, sort of in a Pissed Jeans vein, and I'm giving this one an A+. I really enjoyed this one. The band are absolutely incredible. Frontman Andy Falcos? Andy Falco is a brilliant frontman. I like his guitar work especially, but his vocals have like a sort of like Mike Patton-esque quality, and I'm not the first person to say that. That is from an actual like critic. I'm stealing words there a little bit, but then again, I'm technically stealing words from myself because these are based on like reviews I'm reading on Discord anyway. So who the fuck cares, honestly? Yeah, he's a really good frontman. The other band members are great too. Solid bass, really good guitar work. I love the guitar work and the bass work and the drums. No one really like misses at all. None of the instrumentation misses at all. It mixes up the styles quite well. I like the sort of sludgy-ish vibe, which again makes me think a bit more of Pissed Jeans. Could this be the future of punk? Could it be noisy, hardcore, rocky punk with sludgy elements? I hope so. I did enjoy the lyrics. Now, I couldn't find themes, but I thought the lyrics were pretty fucking funny, and there's some good acid and some really cutting remarks here and there. And there's also the song titles are goddamn funny. Like, there's a song called Way of the Exploding Dickhead, which is an incredible title. A lot of the song titles on this thing are really good. A lot of the band's album titles are naturally quite good too. But yeah, the lyrics themselves, you can actually find them easily to read, I think, and I don't know what the themes were, but I was just having a fun time listening to the words being said. The pacing was great as well. It mixes styles really nicely. Yeah, good versatility to the sound, adds a lot to it, and I like the mix of styles and how well they're used. And the production is really good as well. I like how the mix is rough, but in a way that actually helps out the sound. With a very simple but effective approach, it just works really well. In fact, pretty much the entire thing about the album works really well. I quite enjoyed it. It was just a fun and, like, raucous time. Really enjoyed it. Next, we have favourite album cover and favourite song. I will say favourite album cover goes to Blind the World by The Chain. I like that it mixes in what looks like a bunch of cartoony styles, and it's pretty horrifying, but not in a gruesome way. It just looks really fucking badass, and sort of like fitting with the main theme of the album. What I think the themes are, I'm not sure. Favourite song goes to Hate the Police from The World Is Still Here and So Are We by McCluskey. Really great closer with some fun vocals, really good pacing, and some pretty goddamn great instrumentation. And next is the listening list for this weekend. We have Aminé with 13 Months of Sunshine, Arm's Length with There's a Whole World Out There, Blood Monolith with The Calling of Fire, Buried Tomorrow with Will You Still Haunt Me with That Same Patience, Ezra Furman with Goodbye Smallhead, and Friendship with Caveman Mic'd Up. Obviously completely subject to change, but hopefully it doesn't change that much. And that'll about do it. I'll see you all tomorrow for the return show after Locked and Loaded. Go watch Locked and Loaded. That was a fucking good show, mate. And yeah, I'll see you all for that. And always, as always, I'm going to like plug myself slightly. If you have any tag team, men's tag teams, women's single stars, men's single stars that you are willing to donate to 2K25 on current gen consoles, that is PS5 and Xbox Series X/S. I'm on Series S. If you have any of those that I can use for my event, please hit me up, let me know, whatever platform you're watching this on. So that'll about it. As always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye bye.